Karen's here. You remember Karen?
Hi everybody. How you all doing? Great to see you, Ben.
I hope the viewers, you remember Karen? She's
I set up the Freedom Network back in 2020, and now I am still active online. I'm doing Wise Men Weekdays podcasts and talking to people. I haven't had you on my show yet.
I'd love to be a guest. I mean, you did ask me to host a show.
Yeah, that's something else.
Yeah, I would love to, but like I said to you, I'm doing 3 shows a week already. I mean, there's only one of me, unfortunately. So
I know. There's a lot of you, but there's only one of you.
There's a lot of me, but it's only one.
But no, I'm also the one I asked you to join us. We've got a new radio station called Food for Thought Radio.
That's it, yeah.
And it was based about what's going on in the farming world. But yeah, I'm on that. I'm on a Wednesday at 6 o'clock, and I just have guests, and I'm going to ask you to come on that.
Please do, yeah. I'll be honoured, yeah. Because you're a real workhorse in this community. You're dedicated.
Well, I try and network like you guys. I mean, I love these shows because these events that you guys always attend because you go as deep as you possibly can.
We do, yeah.
And just listening to Maria Wheatley, she's talking about going deep into the land beyond the ley line. So yeah,
that was a completely new talk from Maria, and I learned so much from it. It's really amazing stuff.
No, she is, mate. So you want to come to these events, and you're just saying, Ben, that you do things as well. You did tours, a few years ago.
I did, yeah. It was only me on the tour. I mean, it was like a video tour, but I actually, long before Miles got the idea, I did tours of the Pewsey base and things like that, and I had great fun. I did it mostly by myself, but I was accompanied by an assistant for the last one. It's on the channel. You can go and see it, the Pewsey series. So,
well, I mean, the fact that you set it up initially, which is great, because that's what it's all about. It's about getting information out there. That's what we need to do, network, and the more we all do, the more it becomes mainstream, if it ever does. But yeah.
Well, it's great to see you again, Karen.
Thanks
for coming.
Thanks. Yeah, you're very welcome. See you later.
Demons, devils, jinn, psychic parasites, all that stuff. This is a big world. You're powerful beings with high level authority from various places. It takes a lot to be here. It takes bravery to be here.
I'll try to show you some.
It's a lot easy to get really overwhelmed.
Your body is showing geometry in light. Every time that we do a movement, every time that we connect with something, everything is expressing through geometries, holographically speaking. And to this, I call the holofractal universe.
Tony, who you know very well, and he's got this. I'll show you. He's got this T-shirt. No One's Dance a Plumber, music performed by Mark Devlin.
It's Mark Devlin, yeah.
Yeah, good Mark. So how are you? All right? You getting on okay?
I'm pretty good. Yeah. A few problems that I'm coping with.
Oh, cool.
But a lot of things have conspired for me not to be here today.
But you made it.
But I made it. Phone broke down, 2 computers broke down. I had to have an emergency doctor appointment, and then I got involved with scammers as well. So I missed the skeptics talk yesterday. I would like to.
Yeah.
You can.
It's been recorded. Yeah. Miles has recorded. I've done my own recording.
Oh, we'll get a recording of it. Yeah.
But yeah, it's good.
But I'm here, and if I can find somewhere to stop tonight, I'll be here at the start. If I can't, it's back to Oxford and arrive late on Sunday.
Oh, right.
But
glad you made it, mate. Glad you made it.
Yeah,
right.
and I'm on your little documentary now, so
yeah, that's right.
I'll become an avid follower of them now. So
thank you.
Ex-printers and car workers. Stop the New World Order.
Yeah. And we went past your area, Lucy's, on the ISIS run.
Yes, I did notice that. They've kept the old eagle symbol that used to be by the gates, haven't they? It's part of the housing estate now, which is good. Yeah.
Bit of.
It's your old mate Philip Pullman has mentioned with his alternate Jericho world.
Yeah, that's right. It's
the Egyptians.
That's right, the Egyptians and the boat people. Cause he based them on them. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's good to see you, mate. And you take care. Hope you're feeling better soon. Cool.
Yeah. This is a tiger.
The large casual tiger, yeah, that's right.
These are lion teeth. This is lion. This is jaguar. This is tiger. This is jaguar, and this is bald eagle.
That's strange, isn't it? It's strange. Was the LHC some kind of trying to open a portal or something? Was it trying to affect that change?
Falcon.
Psionic lead. Here we go. Look at these.
You can get your abundance easy.
These are great.
Yeah, and then the bald eagles, owls.
This is
pretty good.
So how old is this? How old is this one, Sean?
The adhesive in some of the crystal skulls that were found in the same location, depending on how far you dig down, 1,000, 10,000, 18,000, 19,000 year olds.
I'm going to go with this. Amazing, this, yeah.
I'm going to go with a skull.
Yeah, amazing. That's an original.
Oh yeah,
That's an original one.
we got footage of it digging up.
Yeah. And this is the one I actually held this one last night. This one. I can't remember if I recorded it, but Sean let me hold this one last night. And you can see like the dirt in it where it's been dug up. Amazing. Yeah. There's these hats and things here.
It's hard to get jade and a jade.
And this, of course, is Julia's stuff. Amazing. Are you right just to point that at me holding it? Thanks very much. So this is. Oh wow. Sean is. Well, this is so heavy. Sean is now filming me.
I got a heavier one.
Holding this. Is it 12,000 years old?
It can be like 1,000, 10,000, 18,000,
You got dirt in
19,000.
there where it's been dug up.
Yeah.
This is dug up in Mexico by Sean and his team, and it's got these amazing designs on it. And it's.
Yeah, feel free to show it off and turn it for the camera.
This is made of crystal. It's got to be like that's got 17, 18 pounds. That's amazing. There we go. Yeah, it's got stuff inside it as well. Look there. Isn't that incredible? Oh, thanks, Sean. Thank you very much. That's an incredible thing. Yeah. Oops. Yeah. Is it if I get a shot of you with your hat? You look so cool. This is Sean. He looks like Gandalf.
Oh no.
He's just done a really interesting speech.
Sean Bond.
Sean Bond, yes. But thanks. How long have you been digging these things up?
3 years.
Oh, cool. And are they all over Mexico or just one particular part?
They're being found all over the place. If you dig in the right place, there's like near where an old civilization would be, like, and a lot of. Besides the pyramids, people archaeologists are finding them, but if you talk about them, you lose your license.
Well, yeah, it's got to be remembered that as I was just saying, archaeologists have rent to pay as well, and and if you create an institutional, if you create an institutional climate, then people would usually go along with it. Unfortunately, but this is. Have these been found in any other countries? So, for example,
South America, some in Arizona, if you've ever heard of Egyptian stuff in the Grand Canyon, there's also Egyptian stuff being found in Australia. With Maria O'Reilly, I imagine you can find them here, so you can get out and dig.
All over the world, yeah. Thanks very much, Sean. Thanks for your talk.
Facebook around is aliens and Martians. Who could have constructed something like that, big enough to be seen on a satellite orbiting 325 kilometers away from the surface? It's a good question. And even better resolution, we could have help from my friend Neville Thompson, if one of you know who he is also an astroarchivist.
And it can be a mermaid or a fairy or an elemental or a tree, but mostly.
Well, I'm in the car with Tad and Tony, and we're heading back to Devizes. It's been an interesting panel discussion. It's those of you who watched it. You can watch. I mean, I'm not recording the whole thing. Obviously, I haven't recorded the whole thing, but it is on the Basis TV Facebook group and YouTube channel. But it was really, really good. I was quite surprised and impressed by how good everyone's responses were, including my own, which were completely off the hoof.
Yeah.
And it was good-natured, fun. A lot of disagreement, which was handled with goodwill. And so now we can go back and relax at the end of the second day of this 3-day the Basis Project 2026 International Disclosure Conference. We've got to get Tony a hotel now.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like the clouds are coming over. It's been a very hot day, but now we have these rather unnatural looking steel clouds, as sometimes called, metallic clouds, that are very phenomenal with geoengineering. Well, Taj dropped me off here because we were supposed to take Tony to the Travelodge, but we went the wrong way because he still had his sat-nav program for the Basis Project HQ. So now I'm going to the Basis HQ on my own, drop my little bag off here, and then head. I think I can go through 411 Alley. Yeah, head through 411 Alley and go into town for the usual Saturday night fun and frolics, which just includes some food and some drink, and something else, a few other things. So here we go, guys. Alright guys, it's just about 7:30 now, and I think it's actually not too late to use 411 Alley at this time of year, because as you can see it's still broad daylight, as it is in my country, and we're actually almost on the solstice. In fact, it's the solstice tomorrow. This area here is the entrance to 411 Alley. Now, centuries ago there used to be a gallows here and criminals used to be hanged, which may be partly how this area gained its rather macabre reputation. And I'm going to head down 411 Alley, and I'm not doing the speakers review now. The speakers review is going to take a long time. I might just wait till the end and do them all on like Monday morning or something, I don't know. It depends how much time I have, because you know, last night I got back from the pub, 5.5 hours sleep, then I was up again to go to the conference. It's just, I hope this dangerous tree has now been moved out of the way and I can walk down here. I mean, it's quite easy to get round, I think. There you go. But anyway, so no, it's not. The thing is, with all the conferencing and socialising, there's very little time to do anything else. Now, something happened which I'm a bit not upset. I'm a bit miffed about, actually, but slightly annoyed, slightly saddened. I don't know if that's the right word. And maybe I'm making a fuss about nothing. But anyway, there was somebody I met there. I've never seen her before, and we got on very well, talked a lot, and if I'm honest, we were kind of flirting with each other. And I think she was flirting back, but she had to leave at the end of today's events. Because she's saying she's going to leave at some point. She didn't say exactly when. She said, oh, she might have to leave after Thomas and Mikey Jensen. Then she said she'd leave after the panel. And so that's a shame, but she said, I'll come and see you before I go, and I'll leave my contact details. I'll leave my phone number and email, and we can stay in touch. Great, I thought. Great. And so, anyway, at the end of the panel, I assumed she'd sort of come up to me and say goodbye and leave me her contact details. Turns out she'd already gone. She hadn't left me sweet FA. Which is, of course this happens all the time. You get blown out, don't you? You can't knock over a coconut every time, Ben, I hear you saying. I know. And as I said, I think maybe it's just my male ego has taken a battering. So be it. But it just seemed a little bit... It's like when you get ghosted, you know, when someone ghosts you. You know, you're talking to someone, oh, give us a text, send us a text, send us an email, give us a call, they don't answer the phone, they don't answer texts, they just, you never hear from them again. That's ghosting. It's like, I'd rather they just said, I mean, actually I don't really want to stay in touch, it's probably better we don't. Or they just said, look, I thought your flirting was a bit annoying, Ben, and so, you know, I don't think it's probably not a good idea for us to stay in touch. I think that's the dangerous tree. And now it says the sawdust. That's all sorted. Yeah, that's something. I think maybe that I'd have preferred that. Although, to be honest, it's not easy for someone to say that. To be that honest, sometimes it's just easier just to give them a message another way. And I suppose what she did, this lady, whom I will not name, was just told me the same thing in a different way. And actually, come to think of it, I've actually done similar things in my time. I have. So maybe I should, you know, splinter and beam sort of situation, Ben, you know. I've done things like that. So maybe I shouldn't complain. Anyway, we're going downhill in 411 Alley, and it's a big downhill and uphill with 411 Alley. But it's actually really, really nice. When you don't get Paul-eyed, it's actually a really, really nice walk. This is a beautiful area. There's the castle over there, and there's this lovely house here in this little valley. It's where the railway used to run, because Devizes used to be on the railways. In fact, the railway bridge is still there. We're going to go over it in a minute. There's a lovely house here. Looks really nice at night when I got the lights on. And it's actually really, really pleasant. Yeah. Look at the silver birch trees over there. They're really nice. Oh man, and this is we're approaching the railway bridge now. Yeah. Oh, this, and we go up here. I said, doing reviews. I mean, what I'll say about the speakers so far, there was a good variety of speakers. Very good variety. Like, different subjects, different positions. The panel I particularly enjoyed. I must say, the panel had all of us on there. I mean, I wasn't sure if I had to go on there, because I was on last night, not today. But they let Laura Eisenhower on there, and she's speaking tomorrow. So I thought I'll go on there. I asked Julia, she said fine. And so I went on the panel, and it was really good. We disagreed a lot. I mean, some of you will have watched this already, but Amir and I disagreed very vehemently about Disclosure Day. He really didn't like it, and I did. But that's all part of the fun. It's all part of the enjoyment. You know, and indeed we had a bit of a laugh about it. This is better, Amir, because it's more entertaining when we disagree. So he's a good sport, is Amir. Good fun guy, Amir. Strange background. He's half Scottish and half Iranian. That's a very weird mixture. But you wouldn't know. There's nothing hybrid about him. Anyway, this is the lovely old church here. And we come through here. It's all so beautiful and old-fashioned. It probably hasn't changed in a couple of 100 years. I love this part. You come through this little whalebone arch, and we find ourselves in Devizes proper. And there is the town hall, where, you know, David Icke story, chairs put out, chairs brought back, that kind of thing, which I don't need to tell you again. So, right. So where are we now? You can't fight in here, this is the war room. Anyway, I'm here, this is actually called the poorhouse, P-O-U-R. Yeah, not poorhouse, not poorhouse. I'm sure there's lots of mistakes when drunk people have turned up and banging on the door, you know. But anyway, I'm here with Ian, Colin and Mark, who we've met before. And we're in the basement, which is actually lovely and cool. It's really, really nice down here. And I'm having some room temperature lukewarm cider, fruit bat, which is nice. Called Fruit Bat, which is actually pretty nice. Yeah. Recommended by Colin and Ian. So this is nice. And then we're going to probably go to the spoons if we can't think of anything more imaginative to do. Others will join us. Tony, hopefully, he's trying to get a hotel room, and Selena, and maybe a few other people. So look forward to that. Okay, guys. Now I've got some news. Ian has just informed me of something rather alarming. What's happened is that you may be aware that there's now a new UFO czar, or UAP czar as they call them, in the White House. And you may also believe that this is actually part of a committee. And it raised a few eyebrows when Michael Shermer was selected to be that person, because everyone was saying, well, why? How is he qualified? What does he know about it? He's got no experience in the field. He's like a pop skeptic stroke amateur academic. Now, Avi Loeb has actually has informed us of something that Danny Sheehan said, and this is somehow not a surprise. The UAP, what's it called? What's the full name? Oh, come on, you won't bloody know.
Well, there's a Taos Task Force.
Yeah, the Taos Ozai Task Force actually had a particular name on to be subpoenaed to testify to them. That name, when I tell you it will not surprise you, and this all comes from Danny Sheehan, but the name is General Neil McCasland. Yeah. You remember my Bring Neil Home video? Him. And so then he just happens to disappear. Apparently, did he disappear just the day after or something? This one.
Days after.
Days after.
He found out that his name was on the list, so he wasn't made aware.
Yeah, here we go. General McCasland disappeared days after learning the House Oversight Task Force had his name on a subpoena list to testify on UFOs. This is Danny Sheehan talking. Here we go. I might not get this because this is like a 4G area, but it may not play. But there's Danny. I met Danny a couple of times at Contacts in the Desert. Good guy. Oh, go away. Anyway, there we go. But anyway, this is it on Twitter. So anyway, I'll let you know more about that when I find it. But is that a coincidence, guys? I'm sure Shermer would say it was, but anyway, I don't know. Well, Shermer's already he debunks everything. He's like a debunking machine. I mean, I thought he might be changing his mind for a while, but he doesn't seem to have done so. Never mind, but I just hope, wherever Neil is, I hope he's safe. I hope he's okay.
Announced
right, here we
in
go.
front of witnesses,
Yes.
most of whom are
I'll
drunk,
fill.
that I think Ben Emlyn-Jones in today's broadcast actually came out with a very serious comment.
I do occasionally.
Guaranteed.
I make a joke of it sometimes.
Capture that on video or anything?
Well, I did. I was videoing it.
It is on there. Yeah. I did try to be serious.
Are you
Yeah.
going to repeat it for us?
We're in the Weatherspoons. And Tony is drinking fairy liquid and water.
Fairy liquid. Yeah, there we go.
So
Top of the morning.
Let's hear it.
that's. I will not be repeating myself. I've been running this government for no time at all, and I'm absolutely fatuously forgetful as to what I just said, because it was such an important statement. I could only say it once.
Oh dear.
Go on, tell us what is an important statement.
No, it's been said.
All right.
No, it's been
Well, look at
said.
your T-shirt, Tony. Tony's got a new T-shirt on now. Yeah, which is
Don't mention the reptiles, Dave.
That's nice one.
But he did, didn't
Can I have a look at your T-shirt, Miles? Because it says Area 51 Survivor. Can I see what's on the back?
No, you cannot.
It's a wicked back. It's really good. He's got like bullet wounds all over his back. Nice one, guys. Nice one. We're watching the football as well here in Devizes. Nice one. Ian has just made something really funny. This is, never mind the biologics, it's the crash retrievals. That's David Grush, he's now a musical star. Very good, I love that. Alright, ladles and jelly spoons, I'm leaving this. I've left the spoons and I'm heading back to the Basis Project headquarters. It's been quite something. Yeah, I've had a lovely evening. And this is the shortest night of the year, even though it's 11 PM, it's still glowing over there on the horizon, still sunlight glow. In fact, if you have a clear night, and I think we do have quite a clear night tonight, there's not the cloud we had last night. In many places, even in the south of England, it never gets totally dark. In fact, you get like evening glow, which then eventually just merges into morning glow. This is now the shortest night of the year. The sun will be rising roughly 4 AM, which is only like a few hours away. And then you get the pre-dawn glow from about probably 3 AM, which is barely 4, I believe, less than 4 hours away. So it's one of the things that live in our latitude. I had a lovely evening with people. I watched my second World Cup football match. I'm not really into the World Cup this time round. I watched the England match against Croatia, which is very exciting. I watched Germany versus the Ivory Coast, and it was really thrilling. I mean, Ivory Coast led by 1-0 in the first half, and then Germany equalised like 20 minutes to go, and then Germany actually scored a winner with like 2 minutes to go in like a stoppage time. Absolutely thrilling. I wasn't backing any particular team. I mean, I'm not Michael Shrimpton, because Michael Shrimpton, of course, will be cheering on Ivory Coast. Any team that's against the Germans, Michael Shrimpton will be in favour of. I actually didn't back. I mean, I was tempted to say, well, back Ivory Coast because they're the underdogs, but they're not really underdogs. Ivory Coast are actually Côte d'Ivoire. They're labelled as, because it's a French-speaking country. They're actually. I went through the players' bios, and they all play for like Galatasaray, the French league, the Belgian league. One of them's in Nottingham Forest. So they're not underdogs. All the players are like really big names in the European leagues. So it's a testament to the international nature of football these days. That if you're a talented player wherever you are in the world, you can just go wherever you want in the world and play for whatever team you like. If you're good enough, any team will take you on. It's understandable if you're the selector or the talent scout. That's who you want. You want the player who's going to score the most goals. So it's a really thrilling match. Germany pulled through just at the last minute. It was going to be a draw. Poor old Colin had 11. he got an 11 on the bet on Ivory Coast. Anyway, I'm going to go back now. I'm not going to stay out late. I stayed at the pub until gone midnight last night. I'm not going to do that this time, because I want a good night's sleep, and I'm probably going to have to go with Miles to the venue, because the person who was going to give me a lift, well, the Jane, the lady who gave me a lift this morning, she's not there now, so she's not available tomorrow, so she's going home. So, and I did ask her, can you give me a lift to the venue on your way? And she said, I don't have time, I've got to get to bloody Stroud. It's alright, and fair enough. It's a lovely warm, it's warm as you see. I've not even brought my jersey with me this time. Don't think I need it. And there is a moon out. Don't know what the phase is, because I did space weather just a few days ago. And let's see what it's like now. We have a moon. And it's a crescent moon. Yes. Oh, that's a nice sight, isn't it? Crescent moon over Devizes. Very, very nice indeed. Guys. Yeah. Fascinating speakers. It's had its ups and downs, as it always does at these events, but I'm ready for tomorrow, the final day of the conference. And of course, the final day means then the conference is over. I don't know, but I'm not. I'll face the post-conference blues when they hit. And for the time being, I'm going to have fun. And tomorrow morning is going to be great fun, because I'm going to take on my alter ego as Dr. Ben Emlyn-Jones, and Colin is going to take on as Professor Colin Wooliford, and we're going to do our little traditional Sunday morning dialogue. And I've already made a list of a couple of talking points, but to be honest, Colin and I can we can ad-lib for hours if necessary. You know, he and I have such a good rapport that it's no planning and preparation is necessary. That's going to be great fun. So, sleep well, guys. Well, this is a recording, but if you are sleeping on this summer solstice night, keep sleeping even more. See what I mean? Gone 11 p.m. Still sunset glow, and I will see you in the morning. And I have the bed tonight because Jane's not there, so I don't have to sleep on the settee, which is, I don't know if that'll make it necessarily better nicely, because the settee is very comfortable, but I think it will be slightly better. So yeah, here we go. Guys, I'm back. I am in this room with that beautiful image behind me, and Miles is there, and we're all going to go to bed.
Ben, you can't stay here because we've got Professor Dr. Ben Emlyn-Jones staying here tonight, and you cannot stay here. I keep on telling you this. I'm getting really annoyed and frustrated here. Where is Dr. Professor Ben Emlyn going to stay? Well, I'll have to book him in at the bloody pepper mill, and you're going to be susceptible to the bill.
Lucky
I think this is an absolute disgrace. By the way, the prickly hedgehog is off to the left.
Oh, God, blimey. The pepper mill is where...
Ben,
was that where I
Ben, I'm busy.
All right.
I'm busy, and just stop filming.
Oh, yeah.
Stop filming.
Bye, Miles. Night. Oh, good morning, everyone. Happy summer solstice. It is Sunday the 21st. I slept much better last night. I did wake up a few times. I woke up at 5:30 or something, because completely broad daylight out there. It's an amazing country to live in. And now I'm going to find a way to have breakfast. Well, there's no milk. And then we're going to go to the venue. So I've now got to... I've got to find another cup of coffee or something. Yeah, strange dreams last night. Yeah. As usual, you have like I get a big intense feeling of presence and sort of atmosphere rather than details. That's often the case with my dreams. And I remember I was sitting down eating some kind of fried breakfast with somebody. I remember Miles was there. I remember, and there was somebody else, and they were playing some kind of trick on me. Weird dreams. Anyway, yes, it's the third and final day of the conference coming up. And here I am at the base's project headquarters. With, in here, looking at Miles's book, yes, Space War. My Captain, the Captain Mark Richards Chronicles, Kerry Cassidy. I've not read that. Again, amazing collection he's got here. UFO disclosure in Brazil. This is actually a data disk, a secret document. It's actually, it's pages. It's not actually a DVD. So there's not videos here. But there's a lot of extraordinary stuff here, and it's really quite an amazing look. Honestly, man, he's got more than I have. You know how big my collection is, and look what Miles has got here. You know, you could lock me in a room with these things, and I'd have enough to keep myself entertained for the rest of my life. Seriously, look at this. CIA, The Hidden Hand, Illuminati, and he's got some movies as well, like The League of Gentlemen and Doctor Who. Oh, Exopolitics Leads, that's a VHS. It's quite a rare one, that. Oh no, it's a DVD box set. That's rare, look. That was a good one, that was. I went to that one. Steve Bassett, Mary Rothwell, Alan Foster, Nick Pope, and Gary Heseltine. That was a bloody good one. That was the first Leeds Exopol I went to. Anthony Beckett's conferences in Leeds, they were really great. I actually emceed. I never actually spoke at them, but I emceed one of them. Oh, they were fantastic. I loved them. Amelia. I wonder if she's going to be found. Do you remember they may be close to finding her plane after all these years, after what, almost a century. But yeah, they thought they might have found it on the seabed a little while ago, but they didn't actually. It wasn't actually hers. Got all this stuff here, bases. That's good. Under an Ionized Sky by Ilana Freeland. And that's the book I just bought. I'll show you it later. Michael Shrimpton. Spy Hunter on Michael Shrimpton. Yes, the Germans did it. He won't be happy Germany won that match last night. Oh, and he's a fan of John Downes. That's good. That's good. What books? What amazing books Miles has. What is that? Talking about Brazil. Well, that's what drew me to that DVD. You probably heard this, but you know, there's a guy who's come forward and started doing interviews in the UFO sphere called Aldo Rebelo. Now, this is a guy, he's actually one of the most senior statesmen in Brazil. He's a former, I think they call it it's the Chamber of Deputies, I think they call it in the Brazilian government. He was head of that. And he's currently running for president against the current, what's his name, I don't know what the current guy is, the guy who succeeded the previous one, who was quite based. What's interesting about Rebelo is, though, he in these interviews he says the Virginia incident was true and he knows it. So I'm curious to see how much more he tells us and whether he actually has proof of that. But the fact that someone in his position is saying the Virginia incident is true is groundbreaking. It really is. It's something I would never have predicted, I would never have hoped for. Yeah, exciting times, guys. Okay, guys, I'm driving to the venue. Oh my God, I've lost my steering wheel. No, I'm in Miriam's car, which is a left-hand drive because it's Dutch. Hi, Miriam. Good morning.
Hi.
It's a beautiful morning, and I'm looking forward to getting to the venue. And there's the peaks of Wiltshire, the perfect sky watching place. Absolutely fantastic. Milk Hill, Golden Ball Hill, and the others, Snap Hill, Adams Graveyard. Fantastic place. Do you remember we saw that little bird by the side of the road? Do you remember? It was somewhere along here. Yeah. That was weird, that was. Very weird. And welcome to Bouverie Hall. It's in Pewsey. It's only about 9:30, but it's already very warm. I think it's going to be a hot day. Glad I'm not working. And this is how you go in. This is actually now the main entrance. And you go in through here. Oh, good morning. And here are all the... I'm fine, thanks. And And here is all the merchandise. I'm making a little video for my YouTube channel. You can get bases, mugs, these books. Yeah. Wonder where's Bob. We go through here. Oh, there's Penny. And here's the people, and we're going to get started. Hello, Miles and Matthew. How are you? Welcome. Oh, hello. How you doing? You all right? This is the conference hall. Colin and I are doing. We're doing the little discussion now.
Rather boozy and fornicating.
A lot of stuff there at Bridler Manor, including
Been there, haven't we?
getting into
Crafty
the underground
nihilist.
tunnels, because they've got a big military base underground. It's not so much used anymore. Most of it is disused, but there is a command and control centre called CCC, also known as the Caution Computer Centre. But it's a command and control centre for nuclear submarines, and they've got radar screens, and it's a nuclear protected bunker. Most of the 25 miles of underground tunnels they've got there, which you can drive on in a car.
I think you all know Steve. You all know Steve Wills. He's been on. You've been on before, and he's got a wicked T-shirt.
ASAP. You were at the ASAP.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we've been to we've put many conferences together, haven't we? And we've been on radio shows together.
Warminster one thing recently.
Yeah. You heard, his voice from HPANWO radio. And this is a good look at your T-shirt, because this is excellent Adidas, but it's Area 51 instead, with people being levitated. That's brilliant, mate. That's brilliant. How are you getting on? Are you all right?
All good, Ben. Do you enjoy Matthew's presentation?
It is, yeah. I mean, I've heard it before many times, but it was interesting stuff. I mean, I'm not sure I agree with him completely about the origins of the entire phenomenon, but he's certainly got some interesting stories to tell, and he has been prosecuted for making crop circles. The only person to do so. That's something he wears on his sleeve with pride, and he's led an interesting life, and he's got interesting things to say. So
I think something like making crop circles as sort of paranormal attractors. I don't think there's enough people looking into that side of things. I think that interesting kind of area for people to look into.
But he brings some intriguing arguments to bear, like, well, maybe the aliens want people to help them make these things rather than doing it themselves. I mean, he's not like a lot of crop circle skeptics who say, it's just landscape art, there's no such things as aliens, etc., etc. Like Tristan Swale says this.
Yeah.
We just make them for fun, and there's no aliens. That's different. So Matthew takes a different position from those guys. It's actually quite interesting what he says. Definitely. He's a funny chap. I've known him for years. He's a good friend, and he does a lot of the technical work for Miles. It's just quite something.
The nerve centre at the coal face.
Yes.
Like NASA.
It certainly is.
Mission control up there, isn't it?
It's very well organised. I mean, this has been absolutely fantastic. What's done here. I mean, the setup here is great. It's in terms of the scale of the conference, it's very, very sophisticated. And hey, Roger, I really like it. So, it's good to see you again, mate. I like you. You've got a nightcap hat as well. That's going back in time. There's a bit of ancient history there. So good to see you, mate.
The smallest, self-contained unit of coherence, which is a dual spinner structure in which the outer radiative and inward contractive components of a field remain in a stable phase relation. And so a Merkabit then, as it tiles upwards, then that actually seems to be scaling, but this is the smallest unit to be able to represent one.
Now, Tony has found a little place in Pewsey where we can have as you can see, there's the Royal Oaks, it's just across the road.
Yeah.
The beer shed, we should head there.
I will take you inside there. Hold that camera.
Have you been in, Tony?
I have been in. They do something called third glasses. So instead of drinking a pint, just having a pint of something or two halves, you can sample 3 different beers.
Oh, nice.
In thirds.
Very nice thirds. I didn't know they did
Which
thirds.
I did,
That's
and
great. It's probably breaching.
There's proof of the enjoyment.
No, he's been there, Tony. Yeah, it's probably
and
breaching
one
some.
last thing, there was a little sign on the wall that I spotted.
Alcohol, because no great story ever started with someone eating salad. That's true. Isn't that true?
That's where I've been for the last half an hour.
Nice one, mate. Well, I'm going to head there myself.
Nice to talk to HPANWO TV.
You too, mate.
And knowing what happens on the fringe of a base conference.
Exactly, and that's the best bit is the fringe. Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
As part of her work, which was to that the general public wouldn't understand, unquote. She confirmed every single detail that several other people have come up with about certain places.
Leading an intergalactic federation of 60 spacefaring species. The Greys hold a seat and vote with the Draco bloc. And again, there's many species of Greys, there's many different types of beings. I'm only focusing on the particular ones that are behind treaties and agreements and exchange of humans for technology in this particular presentation. So, what sometimes surprises people is this bit of information about Churchill, Aleister Crowley, and the Grey Alien Agreements. And this information comes from Lisa Renee from energeticsynthesis.com.
Well, guys, guess what? Guess what, guys? I have sold all my books. Every single copy. Yes. What's this? Anchored in Shadows. And this is Sean and Julia going to have a talk.
Starting soon.
But it was normal to not have my psychic senses activated, to not have a screen in my mind. I thought it was normal to have nightmares of being held in a dungeon every night. I thought that was normal for a long time. And you can say I'm a world traveller. So I do travel all over the world, and now that my son's 16, I will start travelling again very soon as well, and I can't wait. But I lived a life which was limited, as most of us do. Our lives are handled, and we'll talk about what that means.
Very good. Matthew. Very nice one. I know those trousers now, Matthews. What's on the front, Matthew?
They come and weld them a day later.
Very good. Just getting a shot of your t-shirt or your jumper. Very good.
Yeah.
Really excellent. Is that Tina Bird? That's on Tina Bird's stall.
It's a Tina Bird special.
Yeah. I'm promoting her stuff. She's promoting mine.
Yeah.
And going through the process of getting the immigration questionnaire, which is endless, getting that sorted out. So from my point of view is I will be certainly writing to the MPs that I know, and they always hate getting.
As you can see, it's all over now. We're just de-rigging. Done the worst, but putting the stage away was the most difficult bit, and we've done that. So now it's just the little things now we've got to clear up. So think anything's not in boxes, I'll take them out to the van. It's basically that simple. Matthew is doing his work with the wires, so yeah, it's.
This is definitely the hardest bit.
Is it?
Much harder.
Well, getting them wound up like that really is, yeah. Oh, here we go. We're leaving Bouverie Hall now. Okay, I've got this. I'm looking after one of Miles's cameras. Oh, here we are, viewers. I'm eating my curry, and everyone else is eating theirs. And we have, yeah, it's all finished. We're all done, and this is my second bottle of Kingfisher. So I think I've earned it. I think we all have. So it's been absolutely fantastic. I'm feeling so happy. And Julie, you've been a great MC. You really have. Yeah, Julie Ankerhaven. Subscribe to ankerhaven.com. .co.uk and check out her work. She got an interview with me on there as well.
He is Mr. Vox Pop.
Yes,
I'm going to be in the middle of you two, and I'm going to be the fluffer.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Cut that out! Cut out.
Oh, too late. We're leaving the curry house now, and we're going to go to the Wetherspoons. Well,
I'm going to be.
I'm going to go home.
Fluffers. You're going to be the grey.
I'm bloody knackered. I'm going home. I'm going back to the Basis Project HQ.
You're looking for the mermaid sex. Yes, I'm looking for the mermaid.
Oh, Bob Osborne and his sex.
I've been trying to ask Bob Osborne where the fucking the funny is on the mermaid.
Oh well, you've got to watch the film The Lighthouse to find that out. Believe me, just watch the film The Lighthouse and you'll find out. But anyway, yeah, we're now leaving the curry house and we're heading through this lovely little alleyway, sort of like stroke yard in Devizes. Did you? Yeah, there's the moon. Did you have a good time, guys?
Brilliant.
Did you have fun?
As always.
Yeah.
As always.
It was so good. Miles, as always. You can't fault him, man, when it comes to this sort of thing. He's created a community and an organisation and a conferences and things that has really enhanced my life and many other people's too. So thank you very much to Miles for that. That's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, and I'm here with
we're going through the portal.
Yes, this is the portal to somewhere. Yeah. If you go through here and the traffic lights turn blue, you'll know we're in a parallel universe. But here's this little tunnel here. There's a tunnel. I didn't know this existed. If I'm coming with you guys, I'd have walked all the way around. I would have honestly walked all the way around. But I'm glad I came with you guys. And my goodness me, See how close that is. We're actually here in the town square.
Follow your dad.
Yeah.
Follow your dad.
Mark and Colin know their way around this town. They really do. They bloody know their way around this town. And now I'm going to go back. But don't worry, guys. I'm not going to risk 411 alley. Not at night time.
Come on, babe, we'll get you in for one last.
Oh God, no! Oh, God, fuck.
One for the road, one.
Maybe a half, swift half, maybe.
For disclosure.
Maybe one swift half. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I knew I'd changed my mind by the time I got to the spoons. You know, I think I've got Wetherspoon's constipation.
Well,
I can't pass one of them.
Well, especially, you know, I like that. The Brazil football team gets abducted on there.
Oh, we're going to have to watch that now. Honestly, I swear that medium, she's literally on some sort of fucking sponsorship deal. Wow. I'm not kidding you, man. I'm not kidding you. Oh, okay. And here we are, the Silt Mercer. Let's have one more for the road. Colin and I are watching the football. It is Uruguay versus Cape Verde, and this is in.
This is a dry run for the alien invasion on the 24th.
You know where this venue happens to be? It is the Hard Rock Stadium, which we were talking about earlier, weren't we?
It's scary stuff.
Yeah,
it's all coming together.
That's right. I mean, as you know, the World Cup has been played over a large area. It's actually a continental venue, not a national venue. And this happens to be the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, USA. And this, if you tune in on Wednesday night when Scotland play Brazil, you might want to keep your eyes on the skies.
Well, the interesting thing about Miami is this is the place where there's more chance of thunderstorms and I think if there's a certain amount of thunder hits a certain area, they have to come off the pitch because they don't want the players to get. Now, as we know, during Roswell, there's some claims that a lightning bolt hit the Roswell crash. Yeah. Now, this is interesting, if only because if during the invasion there is a lightning storm, this could stop the alien invasion on the 24th. This could be, this could be a major fall in the side of the alien agenda.
Right, well, even aliens can't predict the weather. But you know, it's true. I mean, funny enough, the connection between thunderstorms and UFO crash retrievals is real. Same with Virginia. There was a massive thunderstorm just the previous day, and that's when the craft came down. It seems like thunder and lightning seems to interfere with the workings of some UFOs. Yeah, so that's interesting.
Could be an alien there, actually.
He looks a bit weird. He looks a bit sort of alien, doesn't he? Yeah.
A conehead.
He's a conehead. Yeah, I think he's one of those long-skulled people that, or one of those strange things that Sean and Isha have been digging up in Mexico. Yeah. Anyway, Colin and I have a. Yeah, I was going to go back, but Colin and Mark literally they dragged me into the Wetherspoons. They did.
Disclosure drink.
They did. They dragged me into the Wetherspoons. I tried to resist and I couldn't. So here I am having a pint of Carling. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're at the Basis Project headquarters. I'm here with Miriam, and it is God knows what time at night, but we're having a late night glass of wine before bed. A little nightcap under the stars. And there are loads of stars tonight. It's actually really, really clear. And so we're going to sit here for a while, see if we see a UFO, and then go to bed. Photo of me. Where's that then? What's that? That's me. Is that me at Probe? No, what's that? Where is that?
Conference.
Oh, Lapis Conference 2025. Oh yeah, that was good. Oh yeah, I remember that. God's going back. Miriam dug up an old video of me.
It's a little bit much for me. If you're sitting here next to me. Then you pop them up on my phone.
There's only room for one Ben in this situation. Two is an extravagance. Yeah. Anyway, I was staring at the sky and a satellite went over. It was a steady light without flashing, moving in a steady velocity in a straight line, and it's gone now. So that's a satellite. The thing is, like some people would say, "Oh, it's aliens," but when you've done a bit of sky watching, you pretty soon learn. I mean, it's the best thing to do when you want to know what a UFO looks like is to do some sky watching and look what an IFO looks like. Once you learn that, you can distinguish them. And if you're honest, you'll realise that UFOs do exist. So yeah, And I'm going to sit out for a bit longer and see if we see any more. Okay, guys, I thought I saw a satellite, but it's actually just a star. I'm going to go to bed in a minute. It's just gone midnight. And I'm tired. I'm just lying here enjoying the night sky. It's very pleasant. Seen 2 satellites go over. Nothing.
10.
What's it? Oh right, is it 10? I counted 2, but you've been out here longer than me. But basically, it's like a really, really lovely evening, and yeah, perfect sky watching weather. Nice stuff. Yeah. I don't suppose any of these stars are actually appearing on my camera. I think my camera's just not built for this sort of thing. I need a Windkeach special. But anyway, I can see them even if you can't. I can describe them to you. Like that really sad scene in the film Paulie. I still feel sad when I think about that. Well, good morning everyone. It's Monday morning now. And it is a very warm, sunny day. In fact, it's only 8:30 in the morning, but already I can feel heat coming in through the window. I've got the curtains shut here in this room here at the Basis Project headquarters, and now's the time I think to go through the speakers and to do a review of the speakers which we have experienced over the course of this conference. Now, I've actually not had a chance to do running reviews during the course of the weekend because I've been basically out at the conference socialising and sleeping. That's been it basically. So this is the only chance I really have to take you through the various speakers. Now, Mark Pilkington was the first speaker. He, as you know, I decided to make my own address a direct reply to his. Although actually I didn't focus entirely on Mark Pilkington. It wasn't just a reply, it was about skeptics in general, because Mark Pilkington is definitely a UFO skeptic, and he talks about he asked some legitimate questions. For example, why are the multiple civilian images of like balloons and aircraft, plane spotters, the Chinese balloons, people took them with long-range lenses and like telephoto equipment, why is it much worse quality than what's been released by the government in terms of the various tranches? And there's several reasons for this. I mean, Mark believes it's because the government doesn't want us to get good images, but it's also because a lot of the images were, I think, when they weren't captured by people wanting to take pretty pictures, unlike the civilian photographers. They were captured by gun camera footage. The purpose of a gun camera is not to take nice pictures. The purpose of a gun camera is to generate images in which you can identify contacts and designate threats and pinpoint the location of targets. That's its point. Therefore, anything that most things that come from the military, unless they are sort of like specific reconnaissance images, may well be not very good quality. I don't think Mark actually. That's something. Well, it's something that Mark actually needs to maybe look at, maybe think about. And he says but Mark believes the reason is there's nothing really mysterious about the UFO phenomenon, and there's the general distraction situation. I've been through this over and over again. The distraction situation, you know. I don't have to repeat my analogy of the 2 bank robbers. You know, just come over here, Mr. Policeman. No stolen money here. Just unicorn bones, that kind of thing. But he also asks another legitimate question. Why do whistleblowers get to talk openly to people like Jeremy Corbell and Ross Coulthard? Why has Jeremy Corbell got information he's threatening to release? Has he not been arrested? Things like that. Whereas compare him to, for example, the Manning, Assange, Snowden situation. It is different, and you've got to ask yourself why that is, definitely. And again, he says the reason is that what we're dealing with in terms of this whistleblower information is either not real or it's of no defence significance or indeed national security significance. Well, that's simply not true. We know they're of defence significance, and we look how much money and effort the government have gone into investigating it. Billions has been spent, hundreds of thousands of man-hours since the 1940s. He mentions Jonathan Kaplan. I think George Kaplan. This is a new person on the scene, and I thought it was remarkable that he seems to be making an impact. He was actually on the Heretic show with Andrew Gold. This is the first time I've actually seen Andrew Gold mention UFOs, because Heretics is a political commentary channel. Yes, they're talking about UFOs. I noticed also that Rafe Mancu did a video about UFOs as well. Now he's on the New Culture Forum, which is again a political commentary channel, and I find that really remarkable. He says here that Kaplan is very uncritical of the whole UFO situation. And now, again, Mark's previous work is called Mirage Men, where he refers to what's Brandolini's law. Now, Brandolini's law is something that Stephen Cambion is always going on about. Brandolini's law states that the effort needed to disprove and debunk a false narrative, a hoax, is far greater than the effort needed to create it, which is true. Maybe, I don't know, there are exceptions, alien autopsy or something, but which was very, very expensive and difficult to create. And if they did, I know Colin disagrees with that and thinks it's real. But generally that's true, actually. And he says, you know, lots of people, up to 20% of people, for example, actually share my beliefs on the UFO phenomenon, that it exists, the government know it, they have decisive forensic evidence, and they are and they're suppressing that and suppressing it and keeping that information from the people. More than 20% of people believe that in the Western world. I think it was the Western world or the United States or Britain, I can't remember where the opinion poll was conducted. What that means is that people like me are a very, very small vocal tip of a huge silent iceberg. We're not fringe at all, we're quite mainstream. More people believe in UFOs and support Liverpool FC. You get like, the government are now kind of like jumping on the bandwagon of all the, like, the fun and the ridicule of it, all their alien patches and that aliens.gov website. Oh god, that was awful, that was awful. I thought it was a parody site when I first saw it, but the government have like a website to do with controlling immigration, which is dressed up to look like some UFO site, and it's called aliens.gov. I mean, it's so unprofessional, it's so unstatesmanly, quite frankly, and I can't help feeling they're gaslighting us over this situation. And in fact, Mark calls it the narrative camouflage and the military entertainment complex. That's a good phrase. And he says there's a whole new culture and media for what he calls euphoria, which is euphoria is a word he invented for his book, and it's UFORIA. He's witty, he's quite witty. And there's the TTSO and Ellis. There's a TTSA with Tom DeLonge, you know, Secret Machines, the documentary that's never been released. There are 2 books called Secret Machines, which he wrote as well, he co-authored. I've read those, but they're like fictional, like my own. But of course, it's not as simple as that, because Elizondo and Mellon quit. And they are the 2 most important figures within TTSA. In fact, TTSA is now dropped in profile since those 2 important people quit. And funny enough, Christopher Mellon apparently he used to be a skeptic and did a 180, yeah. Now, and then Mark laments, all we've had is this image footage which Mick West has successfully debunked. So Mark is beginning with the premise that Mick West has debunked the Nimitz footage. Oh, it's kind of like a foundational position that he takes. Well, what if Mick West didn't successfully? Mick West is a very, very stubborn man, actually, who is looking for non-ET explanations in everything he can, and he goes to really extraordinary lengths. For example, well, it must have been a reflection in the cockpit canopy. Well, you know, he speculates into areas he knows nothing about, which are physically possible, which he accepts as default because they don't involve aliens. Now, that's what I call the Clouds Day Off fallacy. See, Mark is correct to point out that Lou Elizondo is not 100% honest. We know that he has released at least 2 fake images and presented them as real. You know, the circle, I mentioned this in Ben in the Desert. The circle, you know, the big circle thing, and in the ground, the circular field, and the reflection of the light in the window. Now, the reason is, I mean, Ron James came up with a very, very good explanation or possibility there that he suggests. I interviewed Ron, actually. He's pretty cool. And that is that look, Elizondo's kind of the brake man. By that I mean he's the guy on the train with the lever who pulls the brakes if the train is going too fast. And in terms of that metaphor, I mean that we're looking at something that is essentially a schedule.
I've often said this, I've often thought this about the disclosure process, that the Illuminati are no longer in control of it. I actually said this in my panel discussion. The Illuminati are no longer in control, and that they that they're basically, the white hats, for want of a better word, are now running this position. They don't want catastrophic disclosure. They've decided not to do what happened in Disclosure Day, just dump everything on TV. They've decided to take a slower, more methodical route, and it's basically different things: enter stage left, enter stage right. It's like a play. It's scripted, and that the purpose there is to decondition, to decompress people. Like divers coming up from the depth. You know what happens to a diver? He has to go into a decompression chamber where the pressure is slowly released. If he comes up too quickly, he will literally internally explode. It's called the bends, and it can kill. It will kill you, and that's what the government of war we will do. He says something. He talks about follow the money. He says Bob Bigelow. Yeah, I was explaining that Lou Elizondo. I should continue. I should carry on explaining. Lou Elizondo is the guy who puts the brakes on if that train is going too fast. He's the director and the script. He's the script editor who basically prompts the actors on stage and puts the brakes on if the train's going too fast. Now, I think that's a bad idea. It could backfire. It could get the train off the. It could cause the train to go off the rails altogether. It could cause the actors to completely forget everything, all their lines. But that is the strategy they decided on. But that's the explanation. He mentions follow the money. Bob Bigelow, who of course has long had an interest in it, with NIDS and ATIP. Jesse Michaels apparently used to work for Peter Thiel. There's a guy called Palmer Luckey, who Mark mentioned in Conway Hall. I remember I did a written review to Mark's thing in Conway Hall. There's Vance and his demons. Oh God. And then there's Whitley Strieber. He mentions Whitley Strieber, who basically inspired a lot of alien abductions, when that's actually not true. People said this about Betty and Barney Hill. They said no one ever got abducted by aliens before Betty and Barney Hill. This is completely false. People have always been abducted by aliens. The Hills were that was the moment when I think it went mainstream and the idea was popularised. And I think with Whitley Strieber it's exactly the same. He didn't like. I think Mark is suggesting that Whitley Strieber's purpose was to kind of restore the whole issue of to bring it up again, to revitalise it, to refuel the whole issue of alien abduction. When the truth of the matter is that people, Whitley Strieber is just one of many people who was abducted by aliens, has been and will continue to be. And again, there's more about CIA planting UFO disinformation, the Podesta hack, and the secret machines thing. Where are we now? Number 2, 1, 2, 3. Here we go. And he believes that there was a question and answer session where, obviously people gave. Actually, they gave him much less of a hard time on this occasion with Mark. Yeah. Someone actually came to me and said, God, Pillock, he's a Pillock. Why does Miles invite him to speak? Well, Miles can invite anyone he wants to speak at his conference, and I think sometimes Miles likes to inject a bit of controversy, and if anything it makes the conference more interesting. Another reason, of course, is Mark Pilkins is very cheap because he lives around the corner from the venue. But he said something. He said again. I think Mark committed the Clown's Day Off fallacy himself when he said, someone asked him about Gary McKinnon, and he said, Gary McKinnon was a honey trap. He was a kind of autistic, vulnerable adult who was led into exposing information that the government wanted exposing. That just doesn't fit. There's a million reasons not to believe that. Lucy Wyatt then spoke about Russia and why this hostility. Since, we're what, on our 4th decade after the Cold War, why this hostility to Russia all of a sudden? The aggressor, the big bad Russia, I mean, the whole Ukraine thing, I agree with the whole Ukraine thing, because that ever since 2014 it's pretty obvious that Ukraine has been used essentially as a beachhead for NATO. But why does NATO even exist anymore? NATO is a dinosaur from the Cold War. Why does it even exist? It's this very, very interesting thing, interesting idea. And She talks. It goes back a long way in history to the London Muscovy Company. Muscovy, of course, refers to Moscow. People who live in Moscow are called Muscovites. But it used to be in the 15th century. It was actually what we in Britain called all of Russia. And he said the whole World War II was to stop Russia. Hitler essentially was put there as a kind of antibiotic to exterminate the Russian menace. And she mentions people like Thierry Misson, Anthony Sutton. I'm familiar with those authors. Thierry Misson is a French author who did a lot to expose the truth about 9/11. And just get these things out of the way. Anthony Sutton has written a series of very interesting books about the relationship between the West and the Soviet Union in the Cold War, which is not the same. The private relationship between the two is not the same as the public. So, for example, there are people in the West who were funding the Soviet Union and gave them weapons and arms and things like that. Apparently she calls this the Doom Cult. She says the Doom Cult had plans to colonise Russia through the British Empire in 1613. Oh, right, yeah. Miriam Jansa was the next speaker, who talked about giants, and she actually said that there was she mentioned that there was like a flat-topped hill in Orkney. She went around Scotland looking at the landscape and the brochs. And brochs are really interesting actually, because brochs are these ancient sort of fortresses. They're stone castles. They look medieval, but they're actually much older. They go back to like the first millennium BC, and they're very, very strange things because they actually have walls, and the walls are like made of stone blocks that are put together, but then they're vitrified. They have it's like they're melted and they've formed a solid surface. It's very strange. No one knows how they did that. You can't do that with normal fire. How do they do that? And she says she picks up energy from the mountains. There was this flat-topped hill in Orkney, on the island of Hoy, which reminded her of Silbury Hill, and there's other areas of the landscape that look like places from around Silbury Hill. And she even picks up messages from cars. I did think she was sort of like yesterday when she was driving. I was thinking she was sitting in a left-hand drive Dutch car. I think she's communicating with that car. And she has a photograph of this bridge that's opening as well, and she had a client in Amsterdam who kept having dreams about being buried alive. Now, she lived in a houseboat in Amsterdam, like lots of people do. You get these lovely big houseboats. It turns out that underneath the boat, on the bed of the canal, underneath where this boat was, there was a sunken ship where a number of people, including children, had died. And she mentions the weight of the soul. I know there's something called 21 grams. You've heard about that. Someone did an experiment. They put a person on their deathbed on a weighing scale, and the scale eased by 21 grams. It's very, very interesting. Although it could be just sort of like evaporation from the lungs and things like that. But I had to watch that movie. And there's this strange cave as well she explored, and she found this crystal Brouchard hammer in there, which is a strange thing. And strange hammers do appear in various places, like that giant hammer at Great Orme in North Wales. It was so big that no person could ever lift it. It was like, I think it was 10 feet long. So is that the presence of giants? And she mentions people in ancient sites had time slip glitches as well. And she takes photographs, and some of those alien faces appear in them. There's one she put on Facebook, I remember. It had this, looked like an alien face in this tree. Yeah. She captured lights over Silbury Hill. Maria Wheatley was up next, and I learned a lot from her actually, because she talked about things I've discussed before, such as the ancient structures and things like that. But she mentioned things like the Great Flood and the Long Skull people, and this idea that there was some kind of reset of the landscape, and that even like the ley lines aren't quite right, I remember, and she goes to these places, for example, these long barrows where there were like burials and things like that, and she said originally there was no roof on them, but they put roofs on them afterwards. Now the different chambers in West Kennet Long Barrow were lined up with various stars, and this was covered up later. And the long skull people were much smaller, and the long skull people have been found throughout the history of archaeology. In the 50s, there were some long skull people found at West Kennet which were suppressed, and we know that they suppress these things because Maria has tried to find out information, and you can't see the long skull people anymore. And there's also, is it a coincidence that lots of the long skull burial sites are on Salisbury Plain in the Defence Training Estate, which is off limits to the public? Maria did go and visit one of these places, but she had to get very special permission, basically from the Ministry of Defence. And there's wires above them as well, like they put electric wires above them. And someone in the Q&A asked about 5G, and she believes, and this is interesting, this is completely new for Maria, that this is deliberate. This electronic grid is deliberate. I'm finding that there are like Egyptian-style mummies in Britain, and Longs had bigger brains than we are. They're more intelligent, and they were capable of making jewellery, like the West Kennet Queen, as they call her, was actually a long skull person, and she was the woman buried with all this jewellery in West Kennet Long Barrow. Yeah. And she says they had worming bones as well. Now, worming bones, where your skull has different seams on it. And she says there might be ET intervention on this. But they're not deformed people, but they had different vocal cords. They spoke different languages and things like that. And she found more in a place called Fornox, which is in Ireland, which is a similar burial mound. And the New World Order is quite keen on the ley line system, because apparently the ley line system was put in by the Illuminati. This is new on me, but there's another natural Earth grid which the ley lines actually were put in by the Illuminati to cover up. I mean, this is, I wonder what Ellis Taylor thinks of this, because he's currently divining this dragon line in West Wales. I'll have to ask him about that. I saw Ellis the other day. And then was Sean Bond. Now Sean Bond, along with Isha, his partner, have been in Mexico doing archaeological digs, and they brought up these crystal skulls and things. Now that I find very interesting indeed, because I'm just going to get my notes in order here. They filmed it and everything, and they filmed them digging them up. Now I know a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, this is fake. This is like those crystal skulls they made in Germany and things like that." But I mean, I actually saw the skulls. I actually held one of them, the blue one. You saw me holding the big massive one as well, the long skull one. According to Sean and Isha, these are like 18,000 years old, and they were found buried in Mexico on these farmlands. I don't know enough about this to make a judgment. I mean, I know a lot of skeptics are going to say, well, obviously they're just fake. They just made these themselves. Well, the thing is, making crystal skulls is actually very difficult and expensive. Sculpting hard crystal is not easy. It takes a long time. You need specific tools. You need a sanding tool with diamond, basically, because this crystal a diamond is the only thing above it on the Mohs scale. That is the scale of hardness. What can scratch it? You see, you need something to be able to scratch, and that means diamond. You need a tool which uses diamond to carve them. It will take a long time, and there are lots of these skulls, so that will be expensive. Where do they get the money to perpetrate this hoax? And how much money are they making off this to compensate? You see, in my view, it's not at all unfeasible. It's not at all unfeasible that these are real. I mean, I've literally never heard of Sean and Isha until this particular event. I really hadn't. It's fascinating stuff. And also now, Isha worked on the Boogosphere. Now, when I sort of heard this, I went, oh no, because you see, I watched a video a couple of weeks ago which showed the Boogosphere someone drilled into the Boogosphere, and they put in a little fibre optic camera, and guess what was inside it? Batteries and electrical coils. It was a fake. And I actually tweeted on Facebook, I said, oh dear, well this wasn't it's sad but not unexpected. But you know, to be honest, I asked Isha about this, and she in fact, she'd already explained that she'd been working on the Boogosphere. There's more than one of them. The Boogosphere is not just one. There are several of these spheres that have appeared, and the real one is still valid. There's still a real one that has real mysteries. What we were shown is actually one of the fake ones being debunked, and then this has been put out as the Boogosphere, so that everyone thinks the Boogosphere has been debunked when it hasn't. This is a hoax. Right. They found all kinds of metal implants in skulls, including things that look like the chip thing on the Boogosphere. And they have psionic properties. They glow in the dark. I've seen one of them glowing in the dark. When you put, well, it's not in the dark, but you put ultraviolet light on it and it glows. There are jars with an alien face and cone head-like creatures. These jars look like Roman amphoras, but they're from Mexico. And she mentions they mention the Stargate movie. Now, the Stargate movie by Roland Emmerich it's had Kurt Russell in it. It's typical. It's a fantastic idea. But it's a really trashy movie. It's really bad. And Roland Emmerich's films are awful, and this one is no exception. But it's such a good idea. But he talked about the false doors. These like sort of like niches in cliff faces. They look like doorways, but there's nothing behind them. Some people say they're portals. I mean, there's even people who recommend don't stand in them, or you might just vanish. There are strange rings with like Stargate things, and with little evil eyes and pyramids in the rings, and there are psychic attacks and things like that, and she said it's to do. There's a lot to do with the sacred chakra, and these have been found since 1920. It's really quite amazing. Then Isha talks about the Arcane Codex and how there's biotech science from the ancient world. She lived in Egypt, and she talks about the hollow fractal universe where there's geometry everywhere. It's not unlike what Selena talks about later. There are pentacles, Merkabahs, and then there's the Flower of Life, and then there's the tetrahedron, which is like a 3D version of the Merkabah. The Merkabah is like the Star of David. And she says, as a child, she was taken to a room with tapestries in it, and she worked on the Boogosphere. And again, it's there's people getting telepathic messages from the Boogosphere. And she mentions 3i Atlas as well, which is interesting because we've seen more fireballs and things like that since 3i Atlas went past, and it could be that these spheres, maybe there's more than one equivalent to the Boogosphere, is something that was dropped off by 3i Atlas. Really, really interesting. Mia was up next, Jehangiri, and he talked about runes and the runic system, and where the runes come from. You know, in ancient Scandinavia they had this writing system, and it's a map of consciousness. And so he believes it's similar to crop circles, and he showed these various images of runes. Now, funny enough, there's a cereal brand called Nabisco. It actually, I think they make shredded wheat and a few other types of cereal. It's called Nabisco, and these are like magical sigils, and the runes are like that. So what we're looking at is we have a modern breakfast cereal manufacturer that is literally using runes and sigils as its corporate logo. Yeah. And then there's Thomas Mikey Jensen was talking about. He basically did a thing a little bit like what he did last time, where he goes through the pictures of Mars and how there are like very strange images, and it's strange images that make it look like there are artificial structures on Mars. Now, this is not a new idea. It goes back to Richard Hoagland and the face on Mars and Sidonia, but Thomas has discovered a lot more, many different ones from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter and things like that. When I was on the panel, I actually said to Thomas, I said, because Thomas believes that some of these structures have been recently excavated, and I said to Thomas, what if it's actually censorship on the MRO images? Because the Mars Reconnaissance Observer, we know, has actually had fake images and false images that have been created and have been altered. Like the face on Mars look like just a patch of scratched ground. It was like they called it the kitty litter photo because they wanted to suppress images about the face on Mars. And but he's discovered so many more. There's this flying saucer in the cliff. It looks like the sleeper house from Woody Allen's film. It's really, really amazing. It's 150 feet across. He's found like this big box-shaped thing in this little valley, and it looks like a quarry. Now, these could be ancient things that date back billions of years to the previous civilization on Mars, when Mars was Earth-like, or they could be the secret space program's own bases. Yeah, and he's been helped by Dolly Indigo Star, his partner, who actually found something really interesting herself. And these things have been actually also photographed from the Martian surface through the Opportunity rover. It was like this dome thing. It looked like a landed UFO, and that just flew away and vanished. Next speaker was Matthew Williams. Now Matthew Williams is interesting because like he's a crop circle maker. So he's a bit like that twat Tristan Swale, who was really horrible to me. But Tristan is a complete skeptic who says it's just a piece of landscape art and there's nothing to it. Matthew is actually a believer, he's a paranormal believer, and he says that, yes, people make the circles, but the aliens tell us what to do. And he says, so why are people so against the idea that humans make crop circles? Because, they make the pyramids. We think it's insulting to suggest we can't make the pyramids and things like that. But so why do people actually convinced that aliens directly make the crop circles? Doesn't it make sense that aliens would, rather than going and getting their own hands dirty, they'd get people to do it? It's much more kind of like discreet. The thing about it is like he actually said at the beginning, put your hands up if you believe that people make crop circles. And of course I put my hand up because people do make crop circles. But I think what Matthew meant was, if you believe that if humans are the only people, it's humans only who make crop circles, in which case I would not have put my hand up. But I've known Matthew has this position. I've talked about him about it many times. But he's also like a little bit of a John Greenwald Jr. because he's been making FOIA requests for various information. There's DE55, which was confirmed by Nick Pope, and the Corsham Computer Centre at Rudloe Manor. Remember the Crafty Nihilist video where they see this big computer thing being taken into Rudloe Manor, into that area where there's underground bases. We know, not secret underground bases, we know about them. And they're really shocked by it all. And so we have also Matt's discovered dark figures walking in crop circles, even where there's like infrared images of the crop circles or low light images of the crop circle makers at work. You see these dark human figures next to them, quite scary. That, yeah. And I actually had a crop circle. I dreamed a crop circle. And Matthew says that some people have been dreaming crop circles that then appear, and that happened to me once. I made a video about it. Some people were asking him things about crop circles, like the Whaley footage, where you see the crop circle being made by orbs. I suppose Matthew would say that was fake. I'm not so sure, because if it came out today, I would say, yeah, of course, it could be fake. What couldn't be fake nowadays? But I'm not so sure. But he said a lot of people back in 1994. It's different. A lot of people learn things from a dream. Like an engineer or a scientist will have an invention from a dream. So, for example, Niels Bohr worked out a particular formula in physics because of that, and there was August Kekule, he was a chemist, discovered benzene because he had a dream about a snake eating its tail. I think Francis Crick, very famously, Matthew didn't mention this, but one of the discoverers of DNA saw the DNA molecule on a drug trip or something. And also Elias Howe. Elias Howe invented the sewing machine, but he dreamed about it beforehand. It's like when we dream, information comes into our head. It's really interesting. And when Matt was once, he was very ill and he had to take medication, and he kept dreaming about this caricatured face. It reminds me of This Man. Have you seen, about This Man? Have you ever seen, Have You Dreamed of This Man? And there's this picture there. I think I covered that once. It's just a face of a guy with big bushy eyebrows. There's telepathy between the different circle makers as well. So you have like, that's number, I've numbered my pages, that's 6, this is 7. So different circle makers working in different areas will get like the same image, and they'll create the same image and things like that. But he said sometimes it's interesting that Matthew says things like some things aren't perfect in crop circles. He mentions the Barbary Castle glyph, which is slightly off. He tried to make a logo which involves an ellipse, and he says and a font. He says getting fonts right is tricky, ellipses are tricky, which is interesting, because I suppose there are crop circles with ellipses in them, so it can't be that difficult if people are making them. Some of them even have like a forced perspective, so they're actually in an ellipse, so when you look at them from above they're circular, a bit like some brand logos on which they paint onto the ground in sporting events. Linda Moulton Howe apparently didn't report a black figure. There's balls of light. People even requested certain weather, like, can we have nice weather tonight so we can make our crop circle and things like that. Yeah. Now someone asked him, look, is any of this real? In fact, it was Sean actually, and says, surely some of this is real. And Matthew says, yeah, the original circles, like just the simple designs, they were real. They were real. Selina Stenberg talked about quantum architecture. She mentions the crop circles, but she's actually from Norway. She's lived in the UK and does healing and meditation. And she mentions the Chill Bolton thing with the alien and the circle in it, but the circle with the ASCII message in, which I've just talked about in my SETI presentation, and that how she's seen orbs with similar things in, messages like that. And there's even a face, like a face in profile with a big nose. And yeah, she has. She never mentions that she disagrees with Matthew about crop circles' origins. She just talks about the crop circles themselves. And she talks about how there's tetrahedral spinning, and Euler was a mathematician, and it looks, and the circle he created with the lines on looks like the runes that Amir was talking about. And there's the Boogosphere symbols as well, and again the Boogosphere may well be real. And there's numerology and everything, like 4/3 or 8/6. Which is kind of like which is kind of like 1 1/4 basically versus 1 sort of thing, or 2/3. I can't work it out. And Matthew actually asked her, is it possible that these things, even UFOs and even solid objects like UFOs and the crop circles are they're like the flatland thing, so they're like 3D slices. They're 3D slices of 4D objects. Very interesting indeed, like the Tesseract. Laura Eisenhower came on next, and she said about how the Illuminati have used astrology. She talked very rapidly. Laura talked very fast and delivered a lot of information, a bit like Julia Ankerhaven did later. But she mentions Maria Ortiz and how they used the Nazis were using astrology and things like that, and the Nikola Tesla, they used Tesla technology. And there was this thing called the Greada Treaty, where Dwight Eisenhower, who was her great-grandfather, the president, signed a deal with the Greys for alien technology in exchange for abducting humans. This idea has never really gelled with me, because if it comes to negotiations between humans and aliens, well, we wouldn't have much to bring to the table, because aliens can take us whenever they like. They don't need our permission. We wouldn't have any leverage in this negotiation. In fact, the fact that alien abduction goes back so far in time indicates something else is going on. Something else is going on. But there's archons too. They go back tens of thousands of years, and they feed off loosh. And Laura thinks that some of them are using the trolls to generate loosh. Loosh is like negative energy and emotions, which causes energy, which they feed off. The trolls are a part of it, and the Greys broke the Greada Treaty when Pluto was in Leo in World War II, and there was a Saturn-Pluto conjunction, which is the same as COVID, and she defends her grandfather, because as you know, people like David Irving and have actually said that Eisenhower in World War II, when he was a general in the army, he was a brutal man and killed 400,000 German prisoners of war and stuff like that. And Laura says, no, her great-granddad was actually a good guy. So I can't disagree. I don't have the information to disagree with that. It's worth. I mentioned this to Laura herself. A good film to watch is The 11th Green. It's an independent, low-budget film, but it's about Eisenhower and the UFO connection. And she's been advised by Dan Cooper, who I know was a pilot in some comic. He's like a fighter pilot in a comic, but he's also a researcher. And he talks about how in July 1952, you know, there was the Washington flap, where aliens were flying around the White House. But this was a secret invasion, and they went to the CIA and they created MK Ultra, the Montauk Project. Joseph Mengele through Operation Paperclip was helping them, and this is where you get Val Valiant Thor as well, the stranger at the Pentagon, and Bill Cooper actually mentioned this, and Phil Schneider has also mentioned Thor, and he has photographs of Thor. And they advised Dwight. Now, Dwight Eisenhower actually invaded the Dulce base. Yes, you know, there was like Eisenhower's going to. You remember Mr. Cooper, the old guy that Richard Dolan interviewed, the guy who was on his deathbed with the oxygen coming through nasal spacks. He said that Eisenhower was going to invade Area 51. You may wonder why. Why would a U.S. president need to invade his own base? Well, maybe it's not his base. I mean, even the lawyer who did the Frost lawsuit said that, you know, if there's no congressional oversight and no presidential oversight of Area 51, is it even part of the United States at all? Or is it some kind of enclave of some kind of super government? And she mentions there are breeding experiments and how you can train your mitochondrial DNA to cure you of certain things, and you can activate your mitochondrial DNA. But, well, I think I've got Laura mixed up with. Oh, I haven't. That's 7, and that's 8. Yeah, sorry. I think I've gone on to. Yeah, I mentioned Bob Osborne. Yeah, sorry, I've got my notes mixed up. Anyway, Beverly Rhodes talked about. Well, to be honest, I didn't listen to much of Beverly Rhodes because I thought she was going to talk about the child trafficking again, which I couldn't bear. But it turned out she just talked about ET contact in South Africa. So, in fact, Julia came out and said. Ben, she's not talking about that, you can go back in and watch it. And I thought, oh damn, oh Ben, you're not a good researcher if you think that way. And I said, yeah, I know it's a prejudice of mine. But Bob Osborne talked about his life in Greece, and where's the bloody notes for him? I can't find the notes I made about Bob, sorry. But he talked about his life in Greece and how he lived in various parts of Greece, and about how he was now living in Cornwall, and he was researching the landscape and where the portals all were, and about how he talked about his friendship with James Casbolt, who lives next door to him, and how and various things to do with the last time he spoke about D.H. Lawrence, who actually lived in that house, and Aleister Crowley lived next door, or at a different time, obviously. I think D.H. Lawrence came later, but Aleister Crowley lived nearby, had a house nearby, and D.H. Lawrence lived in the house where Bob now lives. And there's various things like that, and about how he said he'd been involved in breeding programs with young women. Sounds great. That sounds great. And about how there were mermaids everywhere in Cornwall. I think it sounds. It sounds like a male fantasy to me, but maybe true. Maybe Bob could be the ultimate alpha Chad, you know, where these things come naturally to him. That's very interesting. Anyway, yeah, interesting speakers, all of them, and thank each and every one of them for contributing to this particular conference. It was really, really good. Okay, guys, this is the scene you've all been waiting for. Your favourite and my favourite. It's the souvenirs. So we begin with my laptop charger. There we go, that's nicely done. Now this I'm very glad I got this. This is what I've been after for ages. The 16, One Step Beyond, Secrets Were in Jaraba by John Irwin. This is the book about that John wrote. Very limited edition, self-published, a hardback copy. There's only a few copies of those left. I managed to get one. That's my camera charger. This is a plastic bag. Here's my notebook. I'm still using it after all these years. I tend to like to use scrap papers and put it in there because I don't like to waste paper. Those are my glasses. There's a pen. Toothbrush. This is my mobile phone charger. Moisturiser. Very important for me. I need this badly.
And razor, I bought that because I wanted to shave a little bit more. That is this expedition's souvenirs. Everyone, I'm outside the base's project headquarters, and as you may have heard yesterday, there's a crop circle tour about to begin, and there's a crowd of people. I won't actually put them in frame because not all of them want to be in frame, but there's a crowd of people around me, my friends and some other people I've just met, and they're going to go off on this tour. Now, Matthew Williams has he's booked a plane. He's hired a light aircraft, which he can take one. Matthew's a pilot; he can fly, and he's going to take one. He's going to take one passenger with him. So someone's already volunteered. So someone's going to get an aerial tour of the crop circles, which is really good. Not me, unfortunately. I'm going home, but I'm going to stay here for as long as I can with my friends here. Oh, I've given up even bothering trying. I just want to draw attention to this guy's beautiful T-shirt. It's like a Gandalf type figure, and he's got mushrooms on there, and there's trees on this, and you can't see because he's got a Gandalf-like beard, this bloke. But look at this, isn't that amazing? Who did that image? Who created that image? It's amazing.
I don't know where I got it from. I got it from somewhere. Yeah.
Really, really nice. Well, I'm outside the base's project headquarters now, and everyone's gone. They've just all got in their cars. They carpooled for a few minutes, making sure everyone has, shared out among the vehicles, and it was like watching a wagon train depart. Come on, saddle up, cowboy, and they all headed off. You can imagine the Wild West music playing in the background. I'm just waiting here now for Colin. Colin, Mark, and Selena are coming, and we're going to do our own little tour. Yeah, it's not over yet, guys. It's not over yet. There's still a little bit left to do on this particular adventure. Hi, guys. I'm here with Colin. There's Mark back there, and we're going on a little adventure of our own.
Signs new, that would be used to this.
Oh, it's nice, isn't it? And here's the peaks of Wiltshire. That's where we're heading first. Colin's got the most wicked shirt on.
Always like that.
Yeah. I think that matches. Does that match your hat, Colin?
I think it does actually.
Yeah, he's got this Egyptian thing, and you may recognise this because it's been a few years since we went here. Last time I brought you HPANWO TV viewers up here, the weather wasn't half as good. We're going up Knapp Hill, one of the peaks of Wiltshire, one of the prime sky watching places in the world. Okay, we have a reception committee.
They can be quite scary animals at the best.
Well,
we want to walk down to the bit where Wing Keats did the thing.
I can't know, they're all right, but just long remind them we're not in the film with Neil and I, okay?
They're balls as well, aren't they?
Yeah. Hello, balls. What a load of bull. All right, guys, we're just going to come through. All right, hope you don't mind.
All right, Ben, you've used the maybe get around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go around it.
Do you mind if we go through, guys? Hello. Yeah. Oh, they're all right. Look. Hey, thanks very much, guys. That's right. Let us out the way. Hello. Yeah. So, hey, I'm going to be eating you in a burger in a couple of years. Sorry. Oh, well, he's made his feelings very, very well known, hasn't he? Yes. I asked for that, didn't I?
Come in peace.
Yes. Good luck. Thank you, Bulls.
Just be careful of sticking your foot in a cow pan.
Yes. I'm trying to step in your poo. I've had enough bullshit in my life for now without getting any on my feet. Halfway up, it's a steep hill, but I'm fitter than I look, guys. I'm actually coping all right with this. It reminds me of the Isle of Man, actually. Wow. Here we are. Lovely. Yeah. I'll have a look in a minute. Here we are, guys. And the Rothschild. Where's that Rothschild thing? Somewhere around here. It's that white glinting thing over there. Yes. I saw a flash over the sky. That's Eastfield. That's with loads of crop circles. That's a huge field. That's over a square mile, and it's that's one of those common crop circles. There's none there now, unfortunately. But this is a 360. There's several other hills. Usually, what we can do if we had more time, You can actually take a walk. It takes a couple of hours, but you can go all the way along there and back. It's really nice. Where's that Rothschild's bloody? Oh, blimey. So that's, oh, I see it, yeah. That's that Rothschild pyramid. God knows what they do around there. That's the Rothschild mansion.
Anything they can get their hands on.
Yeah.
Jimmy Savile would say. Hunting parties around Wiltshire.
Gosh. This is a top. Last time I came up here it was dark, but it's now light. Night is a prime UFO spot. So the sky is clear. It's not that cut. It's actually a bit of a breeze, so it's not that hot. So yeah. We've taken a slightly different route back. There's lots of this. We can hear some explosions coming from the direction of Salisbury Plain. So that's obviously the army are exercising. Hello, bulls. Sorry about the joke I made earlier. I didn't mean to upset you. Don't worry, I'll get eaten by worms one day, so we're all in this together. Yes, I will. Apologies. Don't poo in my face again, will you? Yes. Mr. 202069. Nice white bull. It's Golden Ball Hill is like, it makes you wonder, where did it get the name Golden Ball Hill? You know what?
7 Crop Circle, that was Miles's DVD, To Catch a Circle Maker. It was basically filmed down there.
Yeah.
Windkeepers set up cameras.
This is where they brought that silly sod doing that documentary, didn't they, when it was raining, do you remember? Matthew Miles brought him up here.
Yeah.
What's his name? The bloody guy who took the piss out of us. Oh, it's called The Great UFO Conspiracy Theory. By that guy who does that thing with Stephen Fry. I've got his name, a Canadian bloke. Anyway, they asked me to be in that documentary and I said, no way, not a chance.
Is that the one with Max?
Yes, that was one Max was in. Well, he meets him under a bridge.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But, yeah, the reason it's called Golden Ball Hill is unknown, but it may have something to do with the sightings. And there's a little plane. That may be Matthew. Matthew! Yes. That's Matthew and Selena. Hello! Oh, would you look at that? Would you look at that, guys? Stargate, that way. Blimey. Yeah. Got news for you, actually, guys. The unflushable turd has finally gone down the drain. Mark's informed us all that Keir Starmer has resigned. Well, I tend to get out of the news cycle when I'm on these. And there's a little Hobbit Ferris wheel there on the back of that tractor. Yeah, he's gone. He's tendered his resignation following a leadership contest in which Andy Burnham, I think, is the chosen one, which may be why they rigged the ballot in Makerfield. I don't know that for certain. It's a kind of a cope because I'm very disappointed with the result, but also it's possible. Either way, that'd be quite something. He gets elected to Parliament and finds himself in number 10. I mean, that's going to be very suspicious, I think. But is he going to be any better than Starmer?
I don't even know how much about.
If he was going to be any better than Starmer, they wouldn't have allowed him anywhere near the place. So anyway, that's a lovely view. Yeah, we are. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. So thanks, Colin, for taking us here.
That's okay.
We're now going to the spiritual home.
Good friend Rich Presley.
Yeah, we're going to the spiritual home of the woo-woo UFO crop circle community, and it is, of course, the Barge Inn. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen. We just cross over the canal and we come into this wonderful place. I haven't been here for a couple of years, actually. It's nice to be back.
Yeah, because we were here at Strange Days.
Oh yeah, I missed that one. And I came in. I think last time I came it was just after the lockdown, and there were still strict rules about like going which door you went in and out of and things like that. And here we go. These sort of transit vans are everywhere. They're like hippie homes. And here we are. Wouldn't it be lovely to live around here? Wouldn't it be a great place to live? Yeah.
Nice horse there.
Is that a white horse? Hello, horsey. Shadowfax.
Yeah.
Where's carrying Gandalf?
It's not a unicorn, is it?
No, I don't think so. No, but unless it keeps its horn out of sight. And here we are. This is now in here. There's the flag of that. There's the. It's not the flag of. That's not the flag of Wiltshire, is it? That must be. I don't know what the Wiltshire flag looks like, but.
It's got a white horse on it.
Yeah, it could be it. But here is our car park. There's quite a lot of people here, as you'd expect on a night, even on a weekday. You're going to get lots of people in on nice weather like this. And dreadlocks and tie-dye shirt. Yes, the hippies and things. Yeah, that's lovely. And here we go. Nice. And Mark and I managed to order our beers. We have Thatcher's Gold here in the beer garden at the barge in. We had a bit of a, took much of water because the bloke in front of us was trying to pay with his card and computer says no. And you know my thoughts on that, don't you? This guy was sort of wearing a kind of loose, kind of like tie-dyed shirt, and he looked like a kind of countercultural figure, but he didn't have any cash on him. So how much of a hippie was he really? Yeah?
We couldn't get to see the mural either, so I don't know if it's because it's downstairs and the door's locked. Maybe we'll try and ask later, maybe, or Miles might have the secret password where we need to get access to it. But
I'd like to see it. Unfortunately, she's locked in, but we will, if possible, show you the mural. Yeah, we'll wait till he gets there because he's got a bit more clout. I joked with the barman. I said, "So I'm a cash buyer. You need to get your social credit score test checked." Yeah, and then we were in this lovely location here by the canal, and it's
currently
with all these boats.
See what the temperature is, Ben, on the door. Hold on, let me find
It's going to be hot. It's lucky we found this place to sit in the shade.
There you go, that's the current temperature.
And it is 29 degrees. Woo! Yes, boys. Summer is here.
31, and then tomorrow's 30. We've got 34, 35 on Tuesday, Wednesday.
I think I'm going to be.
England match every year.
I think I might get used to it because I am working all this week. When I get home, and I'm going to have to just get used to it. There you go. This is Selena is with us. Yes, I can see her best bits, and this is the second best bit, which is you still got that OnlyFans account. Oh yeah, it's not very busy, but what's this called? It's called pre-match beer. Oh nice.
It's Amstel.
Oh lovely. Oh, right. Of course, it's the World Cup themed beer. Yeah, that's right. Are they? They're going to have some like Alien Invasion Scotland stuff, aren't they, for Wednesday? Well, if that psychic is right, yeah, definitely. Rebecca, that's a way to travel. That is the way to travel. Yeah, isn't that lovely? That is the way to live and to travel, I think. Yeah.
You could have the bases.
You could, yeah, we could. Yeah.
There's a driver at work. He's doing his canoe lesson.
And the famous mural is still here. Isn't that lovely? There was a fear that this might be obliterated, and when they wanted to turn this into a bloody Italian restaurant, but it never came about, luckily. Lovely. There's some classic crop circles here. And Matthew Williams made all of them. As lovely as this place is here at the barge, it's been chemtrailing over the last hour or so, and it's looking really horrible. There's some sylphs and some crosses. Unfortunately, that means it's a lot of geoengineering operations going on right now.
Maybe.
The afternoon is wearing on. Some nice ones.
A paddle load going up and down. Did you see her? There's a paddle boarder going up and down. No, paddle boarder, not fanny.
Yeah. There's another one over there.
Jumped on her.
Celine's gone to find the other, gone up to find Miles and the others at the other place.
Well, you know where you're going now, yeah?
And there's the other spot, look. Yeah, the afternoon's wearing on and we're relaxing and just letting the time pass. It's a nice thing to do.
Alright, okay.
And then they've got little babies with them. 3 cygnets. There once was an ugly duckling. Quack, get out of town. Lovely. And there we have a Bob Osborne duck. He's got 2 females with him.
This is a badger. He's got the badger.
This is a good boat. Pop Chivers, Cape-Haven. And he's got like a... Oh, he's got a beer pump on his rudder. Yeah. I think he's trying to say something there about what keeps this boat fueled up and ready to go. That's the way to travel. That's the way to do it, gents and ladies. That's the way to travel. Look at that. That's a long one. They got bedrooms and things now. A good old British hippie. Got a Bedford van. A good old-fashioned lettuce number. And look at the curtains. Oh, my. Psychedelics, man. Psychedelic curtains. I love it. Well done, whoever's been maintaining this beauty. Heading back to Devizes now, guys. We've left the barge.
Mission complete.
After a lovely couple of hours in the beer garden at the barge, yeah, definitely.
Should be.
Right, so ladles and jelly spoons. We are now in the Bear Hotel with Mark and Colin. Selena is just in there. She's talking to somebody about something.
Strangely beat as
Yeah, and she's someone got sitting here, and we're at the Bear Hotel, and it's really, really nice, and it's gonna be sad to go home. Luckily, we're back in Devizes, and there's a good bus service, so I can leave really any time. But I don't want to be going too late. But at the same time, I don't want to go. I don't want to leave these guys. I'm gonna be here with my friends, and we've done a wonderful weekend. And I don't want it to end because then I'll end up getting post-conference blues like I always do. So I'm just staving off that, I think. We're going to see if we can have some dinner here, which is nice. There was a menu, and I've got some Henry Weston cider. So cheers. It's not bad, this cider, actually. It's not bad.
Shower areas. Like, you could have something in there with.
Now, those of you regular viewers will know that I was very angry a few years ago for the reasons I often get angry, which is that I came into the Bear Hotel and found it was cashless. Well, I'm pleased to say they have gone back to accepting cash. And I'm quite surprised and pleasantly surprised how many institutions that went cashless during the lockdown actually has gone back. For example, all the pubs along Cowley Road in Oxford, they've gone back to accepting cash. This means that there is demand for people who want to pay cash, and that's hopeful. That's good. Yeah. And as we just heard from Selena, this hotel is haunted as well. So apparently, if you've seen ghosts, have you, Selena? Orbs. Right.
Checked out last time because there was too many.
Oh God.
I said I paid for this room, not you lot.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
Tony
So I checked out. I went to cancel.
He'll be there with his digital camera trying.
yeah, he'll be photographing the orbs.
And then he cancelled that. We're going to give you the best room ever because you're only here for one night. No, thank you, because it was dark. Obviously, curtains closed and everything. In the morning, I opened it and there's a graveyard.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
That church by the castle looks really nice.
Listen, because if you go to the John Radcliffe Hospital, right, the neurological intensive care unit in the new West Wing, it costs like £400 million to kit this entire unit out, and it's really it's the state of the art, everything. But you know what? Outside there's some windows there, only small windows, because patients don't need to look out. But there's a fucking cemetery. There's Northway Cemetery right outside it, and I thought that's the last thing you want to see.
It's like a waiting room.
Exactly, it's the last thing you want to see when you're stuck in bloody neuro ITU. I know that most people in that unit don't recover, but they don't want to be bloody reminded of it, and indeed their relatives don't want to be reminded of it. Yeah. This is Mrs. Derricka Dodson, who wrote an amazing book, which I'll show you. But this is her there. Thanks. And this is a little memorial to her in this pub, which is really, really nice. Okay, this is this lady's book, Derricka Dodson. Now, I didn't put this in my souvenirs video because I actually didn't have this at the time. It was given to me after that by Selena, who actually showed me the photo. Heaven on Earth, the new Rainbow Bridge, Heaven on Earth. And this refers to a lady who was actually, we can pause and read this, but basically this book was written after she had a spiritual awakening following a terrible incident in 1980. She was on a boat, like a sailing boat, with her husband Angus, and they were hit by a storm and the boat capsized. And they got the life raft out, and sadly Angus couldn't get into the life raft and he was swept away by the sea, but Derricka actually clung on for 4 days in this boat. Eventually she was rescued by a ship, and the experience has it transformed her life. So this is the book we're talking about here. So yeah, thanks very much for that. It looks interesting. There she is there, being rescued by the captain of a ship. These are the crop circles she's been into and things like that. As you can see, she died herself a couple of years ago, so I'm looking forward to reading this. bottomless.com with an issue. Well, I'm back. What can I say? Everything was fantastic. I mean, it's one of the best events Miles has ever done. I think it's a shame there weren't more people. There was a reasonable crowd, but I was hoping for like every seat to be full. I mean, when I saw like the way Miles were promoting it with the help of Julia and other people on the team, it was very well advertised, this event. The weather forecast was fantastic, and I just thought he's going to sell out. He's going to be packed out like it was a couple of years ago. If you remember, Miles did an event a couple of years ago where there was basically standing room only. So that's the one downside. On the plus side, we had a really good time. We had 4 days of fun, frolics and camaraderie, and I just love it. I'm never ever am I happier when I'm in this situation. And well, it's post-conference blues time, but it doesn't last long. But you know, the reason I get post-conference blues is because the events are so good. I sold all my books, which is great. Thanks to everyone who bought a copy. I hope you enjoy them. If you just bought one, if you bought 1 or 2, remember there are the sequels, and you can read all 3. If you like the conference, you'll like those books. Many thanks to all the speakers who were great, including myself. All the people who came all the way from Mexico and the USA and Norway. They came from far and wide, these speakers. And they were all excellent. I don't think any of them were I didn't like. I mean, obviously I have criticisms of some of them, which I've outlined, but there was none that I specifically disliked. I think they were all really good. They're really interesting. Thanks, of course, to all the team who helped put this together, and of course to the one and only Miles Johnston. What would we do without him? Yeah. All I can do now is wait for the next one. I really do. Am I surrounded by clouds? That's what it looks like. That's strange. Anyway, I don't know why I'm surrounded by clouds, but there you go. Anyway, guys, I can't wait for the next one. I'm actually got one in 2 weeks. I'm actually speaking at that one. That's in South Wales. In the meantime, thank you all of you for watching HPANWO TV. Hospital Porters, pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order.